everybody. Welcome to another Tuesday Tea with Natalie. Today I'm drinking an Irish breakfast tea and some water. And as you may have noticed, I am not currently in Cumming, Georgia right now, but I am still happy to be joining you and talking about the issues. So I debated what I wanted to talk about today, and I'm going to put off what I was going to talk about before to talk about something in the wake of Justice Ginsburg's death. There's been a lot of commentary around her death that I think we can look at from the broader spectrum of the whole with politics. So Justice Ginsburg did an incredible amount of work and accomplished a lot when it comes to gender equality in the United States. But she wasn't perfect. And in the wake of her passing, I am seeing a lot of people who don't want to hear about the aspects of her record that don't fit into their narrative um, of who Justice Ginsburg was. But I also see a lot of people who are only focused on those negatives and refuse to acknowledge all of the incredible work that she accomplished. And that to me is a microscopic look at an issue in politics that affects politics as the whole and gets into a lot of why people are saying like, oh, I won't vote for Biden, or I won't vote for this, or I won't vote for that. And that is the search for a perfect candidate, which doesn't exist. There's no such thing. There is no such thing as a perfect human being, and therefore there is no such thing as a perfect political candidate. And if you wait for one before you engage in our political system, then you will never ever see the types of changes that you want to see. And it's frustrating to be told that things can't be done with a snap of your fingers or a flick of a switch. It's frustrating to be told that, you have to work for change, especially when the change that you're fighting for is basic human rights. You don't want to be told that has to be taken in steps and it has to be done slowly, because it shouldn't have to be. And I agree with that. It should not be this way. But the way things should be and the way things are very rarely the same thing. And so I think it is a mistake to look at any one person as if a single act or a single stance defines that person as a whole. And I especially think that's true in politics. Now, so let's talk about what that means for candidates. There is never, ever going to be a candidate that you 100% agree with. There can't be. There's just too many different varying issues. Even if it seems like you agree on all of the platforms from the top, you might not agree once you get into the details of those platforms. Like, oh, well, I don't think this and they think that. But that doesn't mean that that person can't serve you and get you closer to the change that you want to see in some way. So, for example, if you believe in trying to think of a good example. I'm sorry. Um, if you believe in universal housing, the choosing candidates, like if there's two people running for a seat and neither believe what you believe, voting for no one accomplishes nothing for you. It might feel like it does, but I promise you it accomplishes nothing for you, especially if because of your lack of voting, a person who is actively working against the thing that you want wins. So it's important to choose to vote and to choose candidates that are as close to what you want as possible, because there is no such thing as a perfect candidate. And also putting pressure on the candidates that are closest to you to be more like what you want to see helps them move. Telling them that you're writing them off because they're nothing, there's just nobody there that you want, that doesn't accomplish anything. So something we've seen with Biden and Harris, for example, Biden and Harris is not the ticket that I personally wanted. Biden is not who I voted for in the Democratic primary, and he isn't the representative that I wanted chosen for this election. But he's who we got, and I am going to vote for him in the general election in November. And something that I've seen and I've noticed with Biden is that people who are saying, okay, but these are the problems and this is what you need to learn about and these are the issues we have pushed him and Harris further left. And had people just said, nope, that's not who I wanted, so now I'm done and I'm not going to vote for anyone, that push wouldn't have happened. So they recently announced, for example, part of their platforms is decriminalizing marijuana, which is something that I believe needs to happen. And it was not previously part of their platforms, and it was not something that Biden previously supported. So that pressure from people who didn't agree with their full platform got them to make changes, and it accomplished something. So it's it's vital that you don't look at politics as a marriage, because it isn't marriage. It is, I saw a great analogy. It's transportation. And there isn't a direct route to where you want to go right now, maybe. But there's a bus that you can get on that will take you part of the way there, and you can get off that bus and switch to a different bus or to a train or to a car in a little bit. But if you don't get on the bus right now, then you'll be walking backwards, and it's going to be even harder to get to the place that you want to go by not voting. So I'm everybody has to make their own choice about voting, but I'm not one who personally believes that uh, protest not voting accomplishes anything. Not in our system, not the way that it stands right now. So I implore people to think about the candidates in new ways and realize that they're never going to agree and fully on anything, and to stop trying. Life is not black and white. Human beings are not black and white, and so you have to stop, especially in death. We have to stop in politics and death, in lifting people up. We have to stop looking at people as only one thing, only this perfect person who fought for the rights of everyone, or only this terrible person who had a bad record when it came to race relations and the things she said regarding race. And because it isn't black and white, you can be things simultaneously. You can be a person who championed women's causes and made it so we could have a year like this with so many women running for seats, who also had poor views and stances when it came to race relations. Ruth Bader Ginsburg was both things. She was a champion for women who had outdated and terrible stances on a lot of things regarding race. And one thing does not cancel out the other. Just because she championed women's rights doesn't mean it's okay that she was bad with her record on race things or environmental things. But the fact that she was bad at those things doesn't change the fact that she paved the way and opened the doors for women in this country. So just like we can't view her as a single thing, we can't view candidates as a single thing. We can't say, okay, well, this candidate doesn't check every single one of my boxes and therefore I'm going to vote for no one. That's not how politics work in this country, unfortunately. What you have to do is look, okay, there are 2 candidates, there are 3 candidates, there are 4 candidates, however many is for this seat. Look at this seat specifically and say, okay, who is the one? These are the things that this seat can handle. So whether it's county commission, state legislature, US Congress, US Senate, the president, these are the things that this office can actually accomplish, and this is how these people are going to would probably vote on those things or pass laws on those things, and what does that mean, and which most closely aligns to how I want to see it done. And then once they are in office, you take the time to reach out and say, these are the things that we need to see done, these are the things that would improve our county, our state, our country, and this is what you should be working for. And that's really the only way in our current system to make change, in my opinion. And not everybody agrees with that. There's plenty of people who don't, and they won't vote, and they don't care that I think that's a mistake, and that's their prerogative. But if I can convince even one person that it is vital that you vote in every possible election that's available to you on your ballot. I'm not just talking about Biden and the Senate and things here. I'm talking about your state legislature, which has much more effect on your day-to-day life than the federal races do. I'm talking about your county commissioner, your county sheriff, all of these positions. And that's the other thing about the search for a perfect candidate. There's far too many positions open. There's far too many things that you have to vote for. Board of Education, county commissioner, sheriff, state house, state senate, tax commissioner, public service commission, insurance commissioner. There's the US Congress, US Senate, president. There's so many open positions to represent you in different aspects of your life, in different levels of government. There's no possible way that you are going to ever have a perfect candidate for every single one of those races. It's just not possible. So what you do, the only way to have a candidate that matches everything that you want is to run yourself. And then you have one person that you agree with um, everything on, and that's you. So it's one of the reasons that I'm running. So it's so important that you stop looking at people to be all or nothing, because nothing in life is all or nothing, and there's no human being that is all or nothing. Even our partners, our best friends, our family, nobody is 100% aligned with us. And so we cannot look for that in political candidates. We must look to see who is the most aligned with us ourselves, and go from there and push for change from there. Um, and it is, oh, thank you, Christine. Christine just commented that it's important to find open and receptive candidates, and that's true. It is, and that's one of the reasons that I'm happy to talk about the things that I believe in and the way that I would vote. But what I talk most about when introducing myself to people is the fact that I want to hear about what matters to you, because in my opinion, it is the purpose of positions like mine to serve their constituents. And so I can't serve you if I don't hear from you. And I'm happy to learn more about the issues. And yes, I feel this way about one thing. And so right now, if sent to the Gold Dome, for example, I would vote to, to expand education funding. I would vote to decriminalize marijuana. I would vote um, for many different things. And um, if you feel like my position on one of those is wrong, I would love to hear why, and I would love to hear what you would like to see done. And that's the other thing for me is, for a lot of these things, I have done a significant amount of research, and I feel pretty confident in my stance. But for many things, I can't possibly know everything. And so I hearing from constituents that know more and have, if you are a single issue voter, what is that single issue, and how can the people who are serving you do better on that issue? If you don't reach out to the people who are running and instead just wait for somebody who matches what you want to run, you're going to be waiting for a long time and you won't see the change that you want to see. Start working for that change. And the way that you do that is comparing who is running, finding the one that's closest to what you want, and then reaching out to them and seeing if you can persuade them to shift a little bit. And then helping get them in office if they are willing to do that. And so this isn't, like I said, this isn't an issue or a platform or anything. I'll next week for Tuesday Tea with Natalie, I'll get back to talking about specific things. But after Justice Ginsburg passed, I noticed a lot of people doing the black and white thing, and it made me think about the larger political picture where we have people, like, again, saying, okay, well, Biden isn't left enough for me, so I'm not going to vote for him. Biden isn't left enough for me, but I'm going to vote for him because Biden is at least a rope to get out of quicksand where Trump is just sinking further into the quicksand, in my opinion. So if I want to see the change I want happen, having Trump be president again, I don't see a way forward for that. Will Biden accomplish everything that I would like to see happen to ensure that everybody in America has a better life? No. But he'll get it started, and from there it'll be easier to work towards more progressive candidates for the House and the Senate at federal and state level. It'll be easier to work for a more progressive candidate for president, and it'll be exponentially harder if Trump wins again. So I don't understand the idea of not voting for either, simply because neither of them is perfect. Nobody's perfect. And I hope that if anybody is watching who was thinking they would vote for neither, or in any race, not just the presidential race, but in any race, that you will change your mind about that. I hope that I have changed your mind about that. And I hope that I've, you know, give everybody some grace, not just your politicians, not just celebrities, not just the big name people who, who pass or get in the news. Everybody in your life deserves grace. No one is just one thing. And everyone deserves an acknowledgement of the nuances of their life and their actions. And everyone deserves a chance to show that they've changed as well. It isn't, but should be actions and not words. If somebody has a poor record on something from 10 years ago, but their actions over the last 5 years show that that position has significantly shifted, then they've done the work and they've made the change. And if we don't leave room for that, if we don't leave room for growth and for change, then we'll never accomplish anything ever. So leave room for that for people. Let people know that it's okay to admit that they're wrong, to change and to grow. Because if we're going to continuously hold things against people, that even if they've shown, now, if somebody has said something 10 years ago and their actions have shown that they haven't changed at all, by all means hold it against them, because that's clearly the same person they still are. But if their actions have shown that they have grown and changed and made the effort to educate themselves and better themselves and shift their position, then holding them strongly against that for something they've done, then it is a problem, and it's it's a signal to others that it doesn't matter if they grow, because how they were before is what's going to matter. And so there's no point in making the effort. We have to show that it's okay to say, I was wrong back then, and these are the actions that I've taken to overcome that and to better myself. So I'm sorry if anybody could hear that I'm out on a balcony. So other people are out on their balconies as well. um, I'm just hoping that we can all learn to give a little and gain a little, and stop looking for perfection in anyone, but especially in our political candidates. There's it's just that's a pipe dream, in my opinion. What we should look for is people who align with us and people who are open to bettering themselves and truly serving their constituents and wanting to be, willing to okay, that's something I had to say, willing to say, okay, that's something I hadn't thought of before. That's interesting. It does make me rethink this. It does make me rethink that. And that's the kind of legislator that I want to be for the people of Forsyth County and for the citizens of the state of Georgia. So I I'm available. You can go to my website to find my contact information. My phone number is 470-239-0675. You can go to votenatalie.com. I will leave some of that in the comment section as well. And I want to hear from you. I want to know how I can be a better candidate and what I could do to better serve in the state legislature than the previous representatives that you've had. And I hope that you'll take the opportunity to reach out to other candidates as well, to research other candidates as well, instead of writing somebody off for not being exactly who you need them to be. Um, I appreciate anybody who has tuned in live or will tune in after the fact. And I didn't even mention, oh, I know I did. I did mention I am drinking Irish breakfast tea today, but I didn't really do any drinking. I guess I was too busy talking this time. So I look forward to any feedback that anyone has, and I look forward to speaking with you all next week for Tuesday Tea with Natalie, and we'll be back on the platform issues next week. But I thank you for tuning in, and I will see you next Tuesday, same Nat time, same Nat channel for Tuesday Tea with Natalie. Thank you so much.